This is a Maintainers Growth Working Group meeting. I don't know the number, but we already had few. I already asked for question and answers and no one said anything, just in case. Again, any question before we go forward? Okay. So let's move on the second point on the agenda, that it's catching up with the project's board. The links are already shared in the chat. So we created this working group board. This is a project in GitHub where we added the last meeting actions. And I believe we have to just review all of them and decide, or at least try to close if there is something we can close or help with anything we need for moving forward. Anyone is willing to start with their assigned tasks? Otherwise, I can move forward with mine. Hey, so there was some ongoing discussions from the past, from the beginning of this working group, where we had another kind of objectives, right? So there were like 4 discussions open. The first one was this one that I opened time ago, that it was about seeking feedback about what the working group could do for helping maintainers, users, whatever. So there is some feedback, for example, from Lucas, from Barbaño, who also got feedback from other users and maintainers. I believe it's important and could be useful, but I close it because this was prior to the refining, let's say, of our objectives. So in order to don't add noise, I decided to close it. And in case we need in the future, I believe there are like good feedback here. We can reopen it. Okay. What do you think? Let me. Well,
Sure,
you can.
that sounds good.
Okay. So the next one is this one that Alejandra created for voting on the timing and frequency of the meetings. And what I put here is a question about what should we do with this? Should we use this issue to gather feedback about meeting frequency, or are we gonna end up doing it more organically? I mean, I believe we are not yet set up as a working group until we define a bit our objectives. So I guess this is more for whenever we are set up. I don't know what you think, folks.
I just know that I created this because it was the day that I think about a baño left, and we had the meeting right after, and there wasn't a host. That was the problem. There was no one to host it. So I hosted it because Lucas also said he couldn't do it, and he literally left in the middle of the call. And in the call, people were saying, well, how often are we going to meet? And so we wanted to have a discussion. Not that anyone discussed, but I don't know if no one has an opinion, maybe we close it, maybe we do it organically. I guess I felt like it was less useful a discussion since no one was involved in it, and asking opinions about how often to meet.
Oh, honestly, I think I personally missed this one. This particular discussion. Could you share a link, Sagio? Because I actually have an opinion, because I believe we should meet like bi-weekly, and this current time works. So I'm just gonna like put it there, what I think.
Do you mind if I change then here? Sorry, what I'm doing. Yeah. Yeah. Do you mind, Ale?
Sorry, what did you say?
I'm changing the title to, instead of community growth, to maintainers growth.
Oh, I don't think you need my permission for that. You're missing a tilde. It's gonna break. And maintainers.
Oh,
Oh, never mind. Nope, nope, I was wrong. Ignore me. I am offended. How dare Sergio edit my written description? How dare he?
I'm hacking. Okay, so so let's keep it and work on it. Like, drop your opinion on there. What's your preference? And so on. I think we could share this as well in our Slack. So because as A said, so he wasn't aware of it. Maybe more people wasn't. Okay, let's move. The next one, which is this one. Yeah, this is the main discussion where we started to discuss the creation of this working group. There is a really huge discussion. You know, folks, what happened, that things changed. Some members went in, some out. It's a bit messy, but this is the historical data of our working group. What I vote is to close it once we merge the pull request with the YAML, where we are creating a working group. So that's what I think we have to do.
So is there like any delay for the pull request?
No. I mean, that's the next point. So I don't know what I did. Anyway. Yeah, the pull request is here, and we could either merge it. Where it is? We could either merge it now. So there are some other working groups that have been merging this without adding objectives or OKRs and so on. To be honest, I will merge it. I don't care at this point if we have the OKRs or whatever thing described in there. And we can always come back and add it. So for some reason I added my opinion here, but I think I remove it. Like, hey, I want this to be merged. You know. Anyway, so I believe we have to merge it, and that's it. And welcome to the maintainers growth community. Sorry, maintainers growth working group. That's it. We are working already as a working group, so we are a working group. So why not officialize it? Objections?
I agree.
Okay, Tuli, Maya. Opinions? Okay. Anyway, I will share this in our channel. Okay, and you can add your opinion there. That's it. Okay. Next thing. Ace, do you want to go with this one?
Yeah. So I think I already shared the drafts on the issue. Do you mind sharing?
Here.
Yeah, so I used my favorite word, aloha. I don't know. So yeah.
Any of
So this
you?
is the current draft. So if you haven't gone through it, I believe you should go through it and also share how we can improve it if you have suggestions. And that's the main reason for not just like creating a discussion like straight ahead. So if you want to like review it, Alejandra, Tuli, if you think like maybe there's more we can add to like convince to actually sell the working group, please feel free to like add the suggestions or reach out to me about the suggestions. So we can just go ahead and create the discussion probably this week or next meeting. What do you think?
Yeah, I will take a look at it, then I'll let you know. I'll comment on the discussion or on the issue.
Awesome.
I
Ale?
wonder. Sorry. I wonder if this should be in an issue. I mean, in this meeting issue or any other.
I was
place.
actually gonna say that maybe this should be in an issue as well, like separate from this meeting, because if it's only in this meeting issue, it gets lost.
Hmm.
You know?
Hmm,
So I
true.
meant open a new issue for this.
Okay.
I guess the
Uh,
question is where, right? It's hard to.
I
Yeah,
was
I mean
thinking
the question is
this
where,
way,
so you can easily like review it also. I was thinking
why
in front
not
of a pull request.
why not an issue in the community repo? If you don't want an issue, do you want to make this a discussion? Is it not a discussion?
Because the goal is actually to make this a discussion, right? So maybe we should actually, I'm actually more concerned about how easily reviewable it's gonna be if it is an issue compared to like a pull request where you can like easily suggest changes and stuff.
Oh, you want to make this a pull request?
But then it's tricky as a pull request, like we're not like merging it anyway.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Where, right?
Yeah, we're
we could create a
Make
fake
it an
PR.
issue. Make it an issue, right? Then we
Okay.
put all our suggestions under the comment section. Then you can pick up what you need, then make the changes on the issue, then convert it into a discussion.
Hey, I think that makes more sense. I mean, I'm not lazy, okay? So
Well,
Yes.
I wouldn't go that far. I agree with Thuli's idea. Right now, in draft mode, put it in an issue, and then after you get
Mhm.
whatever feedback and you address it and you feel that it's ready to go, then you make it a discussion.
Okay. Cool. Or better still, what if I make it a draft for request? So you can like you can like easily like pick, add suggest changes. So I can just like click on, that button that says,
You know what? Is GitHub providing some kind of page for groups, for user groups? Like a
Do they?
landing page for groups? Because that would be part of our kind of working group landing page, or, I don't know if we.
I don't understand.
They have team pages. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Oh, yes.
I found it. You're welcome.
Okay.
Ah.
The same? Yeah, it is. So, yeah, but you cannot write. No?
I don't think there's anything special that I don't think you can have special discussions or anything.
Mm.
So
Okay. Yeah, just because that would be awesome,
mm,
Like, for example, here. Yeah, this stuff here about, but you cannot, this is not a pull request. You cannot change that, I would
Yeah.
expect some kind of landing, nice landing here. Where
I
you
mean,
can.
why doesn't he just make it a draft pull request? It will make it very efficient to get back and for him to accept it.
And then I can just like take the final content and publish as a discussion.
So then a temporary, right? Like,
Yeah, temporary.
Yeah, replace it a
work.
draft one.
yeah, okay. Yeah, why not? Just will work. So first PR, draft PR, then discussion once it's ready. So it's what we mean, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Really? Is that okay?
Yeah, that's okay.
Awesome.
Okay, so talking about teams, so something just like popped up my head when Sergio mentioned teams. You know how we have like ambassadors on the website? Do you think we should also have something, for the working groups? I don't know, just thinking out loud.
Oh, I mean, yeah, absolutely. Because otherwise, why would people know to join them?
Cool, nice.
I
And we
would
can
ex-
just easily like promote it.
That was
When
our
I think
idea.
Sorry. I was assuming that we were listing them on the website. I thought we already were, or that we were creating a landing page into the community section to define the working groups.
Nope. I don't think that was like listed in a part of the tasks.
Oh. Oh, I thought for sure I had heard this, so I must be making things up in my dreams. I could have sworn. I thought for sure. Okay. So when it says there in the section that Sergio highlighted, working groups should be listed on the Async API website. What is that link? Is it just asyncapi.com?
Yes.
Yep.
What do you think
Oh.
it was?
I was wondering if there was a landing page I didn't know about. I was
Oh,
It would be nice.
wishful thinking, clearly. Oh, I vote that we create a landing page under community to showcase that we have working groups.
We could take that at least the creation of the issue. We could take it as an action.
Okay. I can submit the issue with the proposal to create these landing pages.
Cool.
Okay, so I'll do that today. Now, as we're talking, should I do it in community, I assume?
I think websites, because that's like website related.
Oh, right. Yeah, okay.
And the reason I guess we believe this is part of our working group work is because we need that visibility, right? So we are all aligned that we need visibility as a working group, especially our working group, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we have, don't you think like having, of course, if we have it as our working group, but other working groups could eventually like reuse it?
I believe that it should be a feature like for all of like listing all of the working group.
Okay, Maya, what do you think?
For the working group landing page.
Yeah, because currently I was actually talking just about the maintainers working group, maintainer growth working group. So I eventually did not think about other working groups, but now that I thought about it, it would make sense to also like have for other working groups. But for now, we should just focus on the maintenance growth, but maybe eventually other working groups can also like recreate theirs and like populate it.
Oh, are you suggesting we have different landing page for each of the working groups?
I mean, that was what I thought, but do you think having like just one page for all the working groups would be
Yeah,
cool?
I think it's fine to have like a landing page for all of them. Then we can list each of the landing page, also each of the working groups. Then when the user clicks on, let's say, maintainer, it's going to take them to the GitHub and see everything.
GitHub?
What do you think? Did you hear
I
me?
mean, yeah. I mean, what I was thinking of was basically we have a page, like a landing page for the whole
Mhm.
working groups. So we
Okay.
have like different cards. Like a card that says maintenance growth. We have another card that says another working group.
Conference.
So when you yeah, exactly. So when you click on the card that says maintenance growth, you can then see instead of going to GitHub, we actually have it rendered in the website itself.
Oh, okay, like going to show little details about each working groups.
Exactly, and the members.
Okay, that can work as well. We have to play with the design to see which one works.
Sergio?
Yeah, for example, I would say that, sorry for interrupting, but we could move that discussion into the issue because we have to move forward with the next. I mean, it's so
Mhm.
important.
Yeah.
It's a good point, both of you, Ace and Maya. So valid points, but we have to move forward otherwise. So Ale, would you mind adding that kind of like sentence for starting this discussion about all the working groups will be listed, some of them, how this is gonna be
I
visualized?
created an issue and I shared it in the chat.
Okay.
Oh, we start.
So no
Uh,
more meeting action.
I'm too fast for you. Bam, bam, bam.
Okay.
I mean, it says, are you willing to work on this issue? And
I would say I'm willing to partner with someone on the issue because I can help with the content aspect of it, but I would want to pair with someone who's going to do the React components and, put the page together. So okay, let me update that to say yes, I guess. I think I did that wrong.
yeah,
Are you willing to work on this? Not on your life.
So I added another meeting action for later, but you Ace to share your concerns on this issue. Okay. Just to start the discussion, you started.
I'm sorry.
That I suggest you write some sentence there to start the same discussion you started there.
Okay, I mean, you mean in the issue Alejandro
Yeah.
created?
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
I'm adding this as a action just in case, just to.
Okay.
Okay, so let's move forward.
I also added Ace and Maya as assignees to the issue so that we can all kind of get notifications as we pick it up.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so the next point was the promotion of that, but until we don't have the full script, so we cannot promote anything. So let's move forward. Should we move this into the in progress? I guess.
Yes.
Nice. Then the last one was this one, define a sustainable way to onboard maintainers. This was assigning to Tuli.
Oh,
I don't know.
I'll get back to the working group on this because there's something that I'm working on behind the scenes. So yeah, since it's something for later on.
She's taking way too much responsibilities.
Yeah, I have a lot of work to do. So there's something that I'm working behind the scenes in collaboration with this. So yeah, I'll let you know when the time comes.
Awesome.
Do you mind if I turn this into a proper issue in the community repo, wherever?
No. No, just leave it on the pipeline for now. I don't want to keep it in my head with the things that I have right now. So yeah, it's something that I'll pick up later on. So yeah, just leave it as it is for now.
Okay.
Please.
Okay. Well, we can revisit in the next meeting. So it's
All
fine.
right.
You're literally in like 3 working groups, Tuli.
I mean, like, what do
We
you
don't
expect
trust
me
you.
to do? Don't trust me. Actually, don't trust me in anything. You must give me minor responsibilities that I can commit to. Because honestly speaking,
Yeah,
you
and I
know,
think we should
Ace,
consider
you
that,
know.
Sergio.
Yeah, please just give me a minor responsibility that I can manage because I have the other working groups that really need me, like, Ace. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, of course, you lead in both conference and marketing, I guess.
Yeah. So
That's a lot.
Okay, folks. So let's move to the next meeting point. It's half an hour already. And I believe this is one of the most important points of this meeting today. So it's about refining our objectives as a working group. I'm not sure if refining, I copied the wording from Fran just to be a bit like friendly with him, but it's defining, I would say. But so I wrote some of the questions that were in that message in our Slack that could help us like figure out what is our objectives. Questions like, what do we mean by growing the number of maintainers, right? So what is growing the number of maintainers? Like getting 100 maintainers, 200, one on each repository, one whatever. How do we measure that growth? That's an important one. And what results do we expect from that? Right? Why growing the number of maintainers? Or why helping maintainers to grow their maintainers? Right? I guess that this is the key for, so if we properly define this today or during next weeks, we will be pretty aligned and we could start like finally working. We are already doing, but like having a really boost on our work. So anyone wants to share or start with something like discussing a bit about this? Anyone has an idea on?
I have opinions. I don't know if opinions count.
Yeah, well, but coming from Alejandra, I don't know. Yeah. give it-
Excuse you, Sergio. You have plenty of opinions of your own. As if you were an angel. I was just gonna say that when I'm wondering about, okay, how do I quantify, what do I dream of being a good scenario, or what are my stretch goals for growing the number of maintainers? I do think that it depends on the project, right? Because some of our projects require a lot of work, and other projects are repositories are so much smaller. So clearly, some projects that are larger need more maintainers, and a smaller project, doesn't need 20 maintainers, right? So maybe a larger project would benefit from a larger stretch goal of 3 to 5 more maintainers. Maybe a smaller project only has a goal of 1 to 2 new maintainers. So that's the first thought I have, that I think that the number will depend on the size of the project itself we're working on. When I think of a specific example, such as growing the number of documentation maintainers, me personally, and also because of my Postman job and Postman asking me to work with OKRs, I have as a personal goal, I want to add 1 or 2 new documentation maintainers, but I have a stretch goal of identifying 3 more. So that's the thoughts that I had for the first question. As far as how do we measure the growth, to me, I thought that was when we actually have new maintainers onboarded and they're already able to pick up some of the tasks, because then we can see, hey, are things actually changing? Are they actually improving? Because now we have new people working and teaming with us. And oh no, what happened to the third question?
I'm
I don't
I'm
remember.
gonna put it in the chat because I prefer to see each other rather than just the list there.
Okay. What results do we expect? For me, I expect to not be the only person who knows what the hell is going on with docs. So that's one of my goals. I would expect that now some of the core maintainers, I would want them to feel that they're not the only ones in charge of everything, kind of like how Sergio said, hey, now I have a co-chair for a working group. So if one day I'm sick or something, I know that I have a co-chair who can step in. So I feel something similar, that we would want to have similar results for the working group, where other maintainers now know they have a co-person to step in and help them. And it's not just one or two maintainers doing all the work. Okay, anyway, that's my opinion. So I'll wait for other people to talk.
I really agree, and made me realize that maybe it makes sense to set some kind of objectives, but in the really short term, and not when I say short term, not in the time meaning, like in the previous meetings we discussed about getting or using Lucas' suggestion, right, on working on automation, CI, so on, like the .github project and so on. Would it make sense to define objectives? I think it's kind of what you said, like define objectives based only in that, like altogether working on that. In the case of Lucas' suggestion, so work on getting whatever they need and setting that as objectives. So not being very like looking forward in the future, something general or agnostic that could fit for any project, but only defining objectives for this project. Is that aligned with what you said, Alejandra?
Oh, yeah, I guess it would make sense for us to add a few more objectives and quantify it. And I actually thought that that's why we were asking these questions in our meeting today, because I thought that it was the first step for us to write down objectives and goals.
Yeah, but I think we first need to set the context or the boundaries. Like I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, because I miss one meeting, and even though I watch it, so maybe I'm missing something, but I believe we took the decision of working, taking the first project to be the Lucas suggestion that it was working on automation or helping them getting more maintainers and so on and so on.
Oh, wow. That's right. I completely forgot. Oh, okay, right. Yes.
Yeah, it's normal because I didn't I found one meeting action, but no details about it. So we should also officialize that, like if this is what are we gonna work, and we want all of us work together on the same project, which in my opinion I think it's what I would suggest we do. Why not setting up objectives, results, whatever we want to set, metrics, whatever, based on that particular project, and once we achieve what we want, we switch to another project. Maybe we grow a lot as a working group and we can split in two. I don't know. Or not. We want to keep this way of working because it worked, basically. What do you think?
I think that makes sense, but I also feel like I have been talking a lot and I want to hear more from Maya and Fuli and I guess even Ace.
So I want to understand, Sayo, are you saying like each objective should be different for each project, or we are like gonna have like this general objective that we then measure based on each project?
Yeah, I'm saying based on Alejandra's feedback, which I believe it's like very important. Not because, I mean, it wasn't aligned with Lucas' suggestion, but it would work anyway. So like being focused only in one project, like, and what I'm suggesting is to set up the objectives based only in that project, because this is what we are gonna do at the end, right? So how we are gonna measure success if we don't set up the proper objectives. And then once we achieve that, then we revisit, we meet again, let's refine the objectives, the results we want to achieve. Maybe we want to switch to another thing, and but
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think that would also like eradicate the fact that we are like setting one big objective that can eventually become overwhelming. And I think, yeah, I totally agree with that.
what do you think, Julie, Maya?
Am I audible?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I think it makes sense. But one thing you need to understand, I think it's best, bless you. I think it's best that we define first what we're trying to achieve, what our own goals are, because each project has this different approaches. So maybe, for instance, Lucas's project wants one maintainer or two maintainers. The next project only wants one maintainer. So each project differs on how they approach. So I think it's best for us to first start with one project and see, while we are also simultaneously defining what works and what doesn't work. Then we can also like revisit the topic again and see if we are aligning what we want to do or not. I don't know. That's what I'm thinking.
But it's that different to what we have been saying, or maybe you mean that we should rather define some general objectives that could apply to any project? Because I'm a bit lost at this point.
I'm saying we should rather define like general ones, but then build on top of that while we are working with the projects, like from different maintainers. That's what I'm saying.
But think about that. What kind of objectives would you set for the working group? That
Because I
would
think it will be difficult.
Okay. All right. Okay, let's think about it. So do we like blindly go like and say start the project without first really knowing what we want to do then? Or we just have
No.
like one or two? Okay.
So I think what we are like saying is, so we have this particular project, we say the automation.
Mhm.
So for the automation project, we have like objectives, right? For that particular project. Before we actually start the project, we already have objective defined for that particular project. So instead of having like a general like objective, since we are just starting, we might eventually have a general objective as we go. But I think for now, as a starting point, we should just like have it like focused on the, let's say for the automation project. So we can actually see how it would go, basically. So we can still
Okay, then
eventually
how
have
would
the
you-
general objective.
Mhm.
But I think it's
Okay,
too
so like
far-fetched.
I do understand, but like general, like as a working group, we still need to have like one general objective that we have that we're gonna take while we're working on the automation, right? So that at least we can build on top of what we're currently doing. Because right now we are, I don't know, do we have the objectives defined as yet? Or maybe there's
No.
something that I'm missing. That's what
No.
I'm saying. that is what I'm saying currently, that, okay, do we just go and start the project without anything that we have in mind before we go into it? I'm not sure if I'm making sense.
We do have some kind of ideas because already Lucas
Mhm.
shared what they partially shared what they need.
Mhm.
This is also part of the feedback I got. Remember at the beginning of this meeting, I shared with you that I closed an issue from with feedback from Lucas. It's okay to have it closed. But I believe Lucas and all, or at least most of the maintainers of the GitHub repository and others that are having the automation of all the async API organization, I believe they are pretty clear and they know what they need from us. So it's just a matter of getting feedback from them. That's what I believe. And yeah, my suggestion shouldn't be like taken as a silver bullet because it's we know nothing, right? My suggestion was to get that as the objectives because it's something tangible that we can define properly. Like, I don't know, just an example, don't take this as a real objective, but grow the maintainers of the .github repository by 5 in, I don't know, the next 6 months, and have an onboarding guide for them, or I don't know, things like that, right? That's a simple example. But at least it's something we can define, because otherwise, which kind of objectives we will define? Like, we could define very abstract objectives. At least this is what I believe. So I couldn't get any objective that it's very, very precise, but rather very generic. Like, yeah, growing the number of maintainers of each repository who is asking for help. You know, it's like there is no number, there is nothing you can measure, or at least I didn't find any objective that I could write down and say, yeah, I can measure that. And I believe measuring it's also part of what we have to think about it. In fact, was on the agenda, right? Like how to measure the success or the results. Are we progressing correctly on our objectives? Are we achieving anything of what we suggest we were going to work on? So, but again, if any of you believe or know some examples of objectives we could set and measure, we could mix up both, of course. I think someone of you said like some more generic and more more precise to the automation work.
I think I'm just still gonna go with what Sergio like said, because honestly, it's really difficult, and I've been thinking about it a lot. Like, what if, let's say, we have like a generic like objective, let's say you onboard 100 new maintainers, right? But is it really ideal? So are we not like measuring or mentioning a number like we can't even like attain? I don't even know, because it's really difficult because we've not actually started doing anything like real stuff. And it's easier if we actually just get started with a single project. And maybe that single project, let's say the automation, would even give us a clearer like oversight of having a general objective on the long run. Or maybe we would eventually just stick with objective per project. Because at the end of the day, we are like mentors, maintainers are actually coming to us saying, hey, we need help, right? And each help can be eventually different. Let's say a maintainer or for a project can say, oh, I only need two maintainers, right? Some might need more than 2 maintainers, but it's totally really different for us to like just go and say, give a number like we cannot give a number. So I just believe we should just stay focused on one objective per project for now, just for now. So maybe things would eventually change for the long run. At least it's really important we get started.
Okay, so we could start by that and don't close the door for adding any other objective that could be measured or make sense. I think that that's aligned with everyone on, I guess, everyone on this meeting, right? On the working group. So we are not close to any kind of objectives as far as it makes sense. So I guess my question would be, shall we, how do we want to get that feedback from Lucas and other maintainers? Because again, on the issue I closed, I'm gonna share it very quickly, just to give you an idea of the kind of feedback Lucas gave. This is not for sure for only automation, so it's not gonna be like a copy paste of this. That's impossible, because we are talking here about the triager committer roles in the website, for example, and other things of the website, another project, blah blah. But maybe Lucas say, yeah, we want to grow the number of maintainers of our project because whatever reason. I think the reason was shared already, right? So they are not able to work. They have no bandwidth for working on this. And with some suggestion on how to do this, it shouldn't have to be very focused on those repositories, because it could be more somehow like a generic solution, not a generic solution, but something that the rest of repositories could eventually benefit if they want. For example, how CI/CD works, right? This is very specific, but that's very useful for other repositories and other maintainers. What does it mean to be a contributor, maintainer? What are the duties, the profits, right? So as you can see, this is like, we could write a very specific guide on what does it mean to be a contributor for this project. But for sure, it's gonna be shared. Some of the wording would be shared with a more generic, like a script that could be used by other maintainers. And yeah, he even suggested do a cheat sheet with maintainer duties. Yeah, come on, yeah, it would be nice. There are other suggestions. The point is, how do we want to get feedback again, like the real feedback from Lucas and the other maintainers? What do you suggest we do?
So I want to understand, what do you mean by get like real feedback? I'm still not like getting that point.
Yeah, I'm saying that because I did that on my own, like very wrongly, like in the shadows almost. Not in the shadows. It wasn't my I don't know, my purpose of doing this, right? But I did just to give some feedback on our working group at the beginning. Like you can see, this is from March 25. And we didn't decide that we wouldn't be the community working group, but rather the maintainer working group and so on. So this is closed, and it's gonna be closed forever. So that's why I'm saying the real feedback, like gathering feedback, like if we would start by scratch from the beginning, like if this wouldn't exist ever, which is what I believe we have to do.
Would we simply, so since we are since we're starting by testing this out on one project first, right? One at a time. why don't we simply open an issue in which we collect whatever feedback we receive for each project as we test it? And we can even ask the individual maintainers to drop their feedback themselves as comments in the issue.
I have an opinion of this. As usual, I have a lot of opinions, you know. I can live without
We
giving
might
my
be
opinion.
related.
No, but it's based on feedback from Lucas. Lucas told me literally, like, don't create an issue if you want me or you expect me to write the feedback there. Because I wrote that feedback, me manually asking questions, you know what I mean? Like, hey, Lucas, please answer this. I even was close to jumping a call, like, you just talk, I write. In fact, I think I did, actually. I think I did. I don't know. I don't remember. But, you know, I wouldn't expect, sadly, that people will be engaged on that. But I believe at the same time, we have to open that issue for transparency, and because, yeah, maybe others could prefer that way of sharing things. And eventually, if we gather feedback from meetings, whatever conversation, we can put it there. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I think that it's important to have the issue out for visibility so that anyone can have access to it and to read what people are saying. And in the case of maintainers like Lucas who say, ugh, I don't want to write it myself. I hate writing. I hate words. You know, fine. Then team with Sergio Alejandra or some other person from the working group and have them do the work of writing your feedback for you, and we'll attribute it to you in the issue where we track stuff.
Makes sense.
So are we gonna have like separate issues for separate feedbacks?
I think we should have one issue per project we are testing this out on.
Here's the thing.
Oh
It's
boy.
not, yeah, surprise. It's not only about one repository. It's not only the .github repository, as far as I believe, but there is some automation in the community repo that is not in .github. That I believe it's part of the project of CI/CD automation, whatever they want to call it. So, but I guess we have to choose one. We could choose the .github repository and mention that this involves other GitHub repositories, which is part of the same project. I don't know. That's something we can ask Lucas or other maintainers as well.
Sure.
Thank you.
So these feedback issues, so we have to like make sure we have these issues in each project, not like we have the issues like in a single place.
Actually, one place, right? Only one place.
Like I'm so confused, right? So one place where, like, can you like give me an example?
Yes. So this is .github repository, right? Where most of our automations live. So just for the record, tons of workflows here, script, blah, blah, blah. So we have here some maintainers, which is, oh, look at that. Someone here on this call, con Alejandra, Lucas, Huda. But I believe, and I'm assuming, we can ask, don't take my words as a, you know, like, say, you can now see all my email and it's recorded. If we go to the community.github, whatever thing, we do have more automation here. like this that has been recently merged and I didn't notice, which creates working groups, channels, automated channels on Slack based on our files, which means that we most probably have now an alias in Slack. But as you can see, there are more automations out of that repository. Who owns that? I don't know, but it should be here, but it's not. So, but at least the two the two maintainers of the other repository are here as well. What I suggest, I think Alejandro said, like open only one issue. We choose the .github repository, we open it there, we ask whatever in public, private, whatever we want to look as, for example, hey, we know that you have automation in the community repository. How do you want to handle that? Do you want to be considered the same project whenever we work together as a working group with those maintainers, or rather you want to keep it isolated? Which I believe they will say it's all together. But anyway, what do you mean? What do you think?
Yeah, but I think what I'm eventually like asking is this particular feedback issue, right? Do we have it like for each project, like in each project repository, or we have it in the community like repo? Because I think it
I
is
would
best
agree
if it
with
is
you.
like in the GitHub, like exactly. So
Yes.
we have the each yeah. So we should have it for each project in each project repository.
No,
Why?
just in the .github or whatever.
No. I mean, like for each project, like as we are currently like facing, let's say we are working on the automation, so we can actually have the feedback issues in this place, right?
Yes.
Then for another project, let's say CLI, it's going to be in CLI, right?
It could be CLI, Studio, and others repositories because they are involved in the same project. Let's call project a collection of repositories, whatever. Right? So we have to choose one repository, like the main repository of the project, which in this case is .github, I believe.
Oh,
This is,
okay.
I think this is a mix of what Alejandra said and my suggestion, but again, it doesn't have to be like this. What I believe, duplicating the issue, it's not going to work
Oh.
because it's going to be a mess.
Mm.
But at the same time, it could, I don't know, it could make sense because if they are different code owners, yeah, I know what you mean now. That's a good question, which I don't have an answer. I guess we have to figure out, right?
Yeah.
Okay. We can ask for feedback to the community for this and pinging the current owners of those both repositories.
Yeah, that'll be perfect.
I can take that as an action as well. So like at the early action, just to unblock the next one. Okay, folks, I mean, we are 10 minutes past. I think, yeah, at least we move forward on some things. We didn't refine the objective, but we know what we want to do now, which that's really a lot, in my opinion. Any question before we?
Should we host our next our next working group meeting 2 weeks from now?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna be off next week, by the way, so perfect for me.
Okay.
Oh, wait a sec, because this is important for you as well. Let me check one thing. Yeah, makes sense. I was checking because some of you, or as well as me, work on Postman, and we have some travel, but
Oh,
it's the next week,
Right.
so it's the week after. I had to check.
Okay. Who's creating the next meeting?
I can do that.
Oh,
What?
Yeah, I will do that.
Okay.
okay.
Yay! I still feel like I feel like we're getting better at working together and figuring out the flow. That's cool.
Yeah, that's because it's not Frank here. I'm kidding, Frank.
This is being
Wherever
streamed
you are.
live.
All you did is not like it's fine. Okay, folks. So thank you very much for your time, and well, see you in
Bye.
2 weeks.
Bye.